Hey guys, what's going on? My name's ClickPanda33 and welcome back to Destiny for a little bit of news coming out of Game Informer regarding artifacts in Year 3 of Destiny. Now, in year 2, when the Taken King launched, our minds kind of ran wild when they started teasing artifacts, mentioning them, saying, that they were going to be a new armor piece, we're just like, artifacts, oh my god, that sounds fucking mystical as shit, what could they do, what could they be, it's going to be great. And then they kind of flopped once the game actually came out. They weren't nearly as, spectacular as we thought they could be. Names like Wei Ning's Kong, but it doesn't do... it doesn't do anything. You level it up all the way. It's like, yeah, here's a little bit of discipline, some intellect, and Vanguard reputation boost or some shit like that. Now, with this, the information coming out of Game Informer, it's going to be a lot more like what we were expecting. If it's named after somebody, it's gonna have attributes of that person. One example of this, they released 8 of these different artifact things, from Year 3. I'm not sure if these are going to be the only ones, or if these are just a few examples. Maybe these are exotics, maybe they're just normal legendaries and these are the only ones, who knows? Anyway, the first one we have here is the Memory of Radagast. Described as the first among equals, Radagast the Titan was the King Arthur of the group and strode into battle with a mighty sword in hand. His artifact adds a new ability for sword-heavy weapons, letting you reflect energy-based projectiles, including everything from an ogre's blast to a crucible opponent's rocket. Now that sounds pretty awesome to me. Things like Mayhem are gonna get ridiculous, oh, I'm gonna fire a rocket at you, oh, sword, reflect that shit right back at you and your whole team. Mayhem, with its constant heavy, that's going to be hilarious. And it's going to make PvE a lot more interesting as well. Say you're just running through Crota for shits and giggles. It's going to make that a lot, more interesting when it comes to, blocking an ogre's blast and, just mowing down, a group of, low-level enemies. That's definitely going to be very interesting. Up next is the Memory of Scory. If Radagast echoes the legends of Otha, then Scory is Merlin. This legendary battle bard and warlock inspires her allies with songs and wisdom. Guardians who follow in her footsteps use her artifact's glow with an inspiring light that speeds up super recharge for all nearby allies. Now, increased super recharge for all nearby allies is gonna be ridiculous in PvE, things like the raids or the nightfall, and PvP things like trials. All your buddies getting their supers a lot faster. That's definitely going to be very interesting. That's definitely going to be, I think it's going to be especially interesting in Crucible, because that, if one of your allies or even multiple, maybe it'll have an additive effect. All having your supers recharge, even faster. That's definitely going to be tide-turning and game-changing in regards to the Crucible. Up next is Memory of Felwinter. The great enigma of the Iron Lords. Felwinter was an Iron Lord with good intentions, but sometimes questionable and unusual ways of interacting with the light. I think we all know this through the Felwinter shotgun from Iron Banner. The Warlock discovered the mountaintop retreat that would become the Iron Lord's home. His artifact offers the most dramatic gameplay modifier. Lose your super, but gain an extra grenade and melee charge, a boost to all your stats, and orbs regenerate your grenade and melee abilities. Personally, I'm not a fan of this one just because I like using my super. It's a super ability. This is fantastic. It's great, and I like using it. But if you're someone like a warlock, I feel like that might come in pretty handy. 2 mile-away melee attacks plus your cheeky scatter grenades, that's definitely going to make Crucible very interesting. Up next is the Memory of Galon. The hunter named Galon may have been a sullen pessimist, but few doubted his assessments of the situations on the battlefield. No matter how dire, guardians that wield his artifact gained detailed radar at all times, and radar persists when aiming primary weapons. Now that's going to be pretty cool. You know, you have a detailed radar, so if you're PvP, or not PvE, if you're PvE, it's going to be pretty handy if you're material farming or chest farming. If you're PvP, when you're keeping your radar when you're aiming down sights is definitely going to be very helpful. And then up next we have Memory of Timer. Creepy and misunderstood, Timer's warlock powers and demeanor almost recall those of a controlling necromancer. Guardians willing to flirt with Shadow can take up Timer's artifact and transform their melee attacks, giving it a chance to turn low-powered minions of darkness into allies. These enemy creatures fight at your side, turning their weapons on confused fellow aliens. Another melee a few seconds later puts them back in their right mind, or the effect will expire in 30 seconds. Now this one is, you know, clearly a PvE artifact. But this is definitely going to be very interesting. And like by low, you know, level enemies, like low ranking enemies, I assume they mean like dregs, thralls, alkalites, things like that. It's not like you could punch an ogre that doesn't have a yellow bar and you know, make that your ally. But you know, who knows? Maybe that is what they mean. It's just non-major enemies. Personally, I would prefer that because, you know, who doesn't want a friendly ogre? But at the same time, I don't think that's what they mean by low-ranking enemies. Up next is the Memory of Perun, or something like that. The field commander of the Iron Lords was a consummate strategist, and her situational awareness went beyond even her fellow hunters. If you bear her artifact into battle, then enemy guardians with full supers are highlighted in yellow, and enemies with low health are highlighted in red for easy targeting. That's definitely going to be very interesting, because you'll have, I'm running out of footage, so if there's a weird audio cut in like a minute, that's why. Yeah, that's definitely going to be very interesting, you know, because if I see a guy outlined in yellow and one not, I'm going to go for the guy outlined in yellow first, so that way he can't get a cheeky super off on me, and that's definitely going to make, you know, controlling points, say, in Iron Banner a lot easier. And then, for PvE, if I see a low-level enemy, or like a low-health enemy, I can just easily, you know, put one round into him, and put him down, and start focusing on the ones who have a much higher health. Last two, Memory of Yolder. A particularly close companion of Saladin, Yolder was a mighty Titan champion who ran bravely into battle without a thought of her own for her own safety. Her artifact bears an ability that many players have longed for since the game's launch, the ability to completely eliminate sprint cooldown, allowing your guardian to ceaselessly charge ahead. I ran out of Destiny footage, so that's why I'm using this. Yeah, that's definitely going to be freaking awesome. Being able to just charge with no cooldown, that's going to be very, very useful. Okay, sorry, ran out of footage. I had to grab some more clips. Okay, but yeah, so having, you know, no cooldown on your sprint is definitely going to be useful, especially in Crucible, especially even more especially if you're a Titan, because then you can just, you know, sprint, shoulder charge, and with no cooldown, you know, start sprinting again. So that's definitely going to be useful as well. And then lastly, we have Memory of Stilmar. Stilmar was proud, wrathful, and brilliant, and the architect of the Iron Temple that sits atop Felwinter's Peak. He was a defense-oriented Titan, always looking for a way to offer better protection. As such, his artifact provides a unique ward, the ability to reduce any damage inflicted through damage over time effects. It should be especially welcome deterrent, especially since the infamous Thorn Cannon is returning for Year 3. Ran out of footage again. Okay, this should be the last part. So like extra resistance, or maybe even just canceling out DOT effects or damage over time effects, that's going to be so useful and amazing, especially since the Thorn is back for Year 3. So happy about that. And that's pretty much it for this video, guys, so I'd like to thank you guys for watching. If you could leave a like on the video, I'd highly appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Check this out.